Hey, hello, leaders, and welcome back to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. I'm Paul Grau Jr., your host, and today I want to talk about none other than focus. So, and I'm probably not the best person to be talking about focus, but then again, maybe I am because I struggle with focus. You see, I'm an I on the disc. All right. So I have an I behavioral style, which means that man, I get tracking down rabbit trails very easily. I also will tell a lot of stories. I will take a long time to answer a very short question. Um, and I can lose focus very easy because my mind is just always going. It's always thinking about different things. And I learned something a week or so ago because I was I learned that focusing is a choice. And even with my disability, all right, of having possible ADHD or, ADD, whatever you want to call it, and my high I behavioral style, it's still a choice because we can control what our mind is focused on. If you're focused on somebody and you're really, truly focused, you can stay focused. Even me, if I'm really engaged and trying, if I'm giving forth my full effort. Now, I'm not saying I can do this all day, but I've started with small segments, anywhere from 30 minutes, 15, 30 minutes, building up to 45 to an hour to longer and longer and longer. And one of the things that I do is I repeat back in my head what somebody else might be saying. So when my wife and I are talking about business strategy and marketing and stuff like that, man, I'll be honest, I don't like that stuff at all. And if you're an entrepreneur, you just know that there's stuff in the business that you're going to have to do that you don't like to do, especially starting out, especially being a solopreneur, as me and my wife are. I mean, the two of us run our business for the most part. I mean, we have some contract help that helps out in some areas, but for the most part, man, it's my wife and I, and we want to get to the point where we could farm that out and hire people, contract people out to do a lot of the stuff that we do, so we can focus just on the training and development and the coaching side. But it takes a while to get there, and I think that's a choice too. I think I'm comfortable where I'm at. And a lot of times I don't stay focused because my mind wanders on other things. It's just like doing this show for a long time. I was really focused on it. And then this past summer, I kind of stepped aside and I let Neil do all my editing and he just basically reran old episodes. And it was kind of nice, but I really missed not doing the podcast because my focus kept drifting back to podcasts, TikToks, YouTube videos, stuff like that. I really enjoy doing that. I really enjoy the in-person training. The online stuff is just as effective, I think, but there's just something about being there and being in front of the people that I'm training and developing and coaching that just adds something to it for me. And I really enjoy that. Now, the convenience of online is great. But again, let's get back to focus. See, I'm kind of going and drifting down a different rabbit trail. And if you have this problem, do what I was doing, like I mentioned earlier. Try to stay focused and really, truly think about it. And it takes a lot of effort because we have let our mind basically control. We've let our mind do it its own thing for such a long time that it's very difficult to truly focus and tell your mind that you're not going to go down a rabbit trail. You're not going to think about this or think about this. Or when you see a picture of something, just start daydreaming. And it's difficult. That's a real thing. And if you don't struggle with this, man, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. And it might be like, what is he talking about? But I'm telling you, as a leader, I will guarantee you have people working for you like this. And it's very difficult for them to stay focused on one idea or one job or one thought. With the I, if you're dealing with a lot of I behavioral styles in your work center, it's best to have like 4 10-minute discussions with them than it is to have one 40-minute discussion. It's better for you to send them a very, very short email than to send a long email with lots of details. Because here's the thing, I'll guarantee your high I's aren't reading the email. They might read the title, they might read the first line, but then they'll like, if it's important enough, they'll email it again. And that's that's true, because I know I dealt with a lot of emails in my Air Force career, and I would read a lot of them, but to read to the very bottom of an email was a rarity to me. Now, if I get an email from a boss or something like that when I was in the Air Force, absolutely, I would read it all the way to the signature block. And I had one boss that used to put something at the end of the email. If he sent out a long, detailed email, he'd put something at the very end. And he said, hey, the first 5 people that come to me can get an extended lunch break or can get a half a day off pass, or something like that. And I was right next to him. And a lot of times, if I got to the point where if I saw an email pop up from him, I'd be like reading through that right away, very quickly, all the way to the end. And then rather than me going to get that half a day pass, I may go around and see one of my high performers and say, hey, did you check your email lately? Yeah, the captain might have sent something out, and they would read through it. And, so that was just me, because I know I had a lot of work to do, and I knew if I took a half a day off, it would just create more work. So again, what is your focus? You're working for people that you need to stay focused on what they want and what they desire and what they expect of you. And also, as a leader, you have people working for you that may not be the most focused at times, but that doesn't mean that they don't care. It doesn't mean that they have a bad attitude. It doesn't mean that they're not dedicated or loyal. It just means that their minds wander, and you gotta maybe follow up with them, maybe check on them. If you send an email, always, always, always follow up. I mean, I'd walk out to their desk if you could, or I'd give them a phone call if that's better, or I would just give them a call and say, hey, did you read that email? It's really important. You need to read that. Make sure you read it and reply to me. And it's funny because a lot of times I will catch myself, and then it's like, uh-oh, what did I miss for the last 30 seconds, And I'll come back. And this really can be difficult when I'm teaching sometimes. I have to be extremely focused on teaching. And that's why I review about 2 hours before every class that I teach. It's a 4-hour class, between 2 and 4 hours in person or online that we're on Zoom. And I'll tell you, sometimes I'll be looking ahead and a student will be talking and I'll be like, oh man, what did I miss? But there's a little secret about Zoom is you can hit I think it's translator or transcript. And if you hit that transcript, it keeps track of what everybody's saying. So if I miss something, I can quick scroll back and look at it. But even better yet, just stay focused. Repeat back to yourself what is being said, and it'll go a long way. Hey, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'd love to invite you to subscribe and share this episode with somebody that you know it may help. Maybe somebody needs to hear this. Maybe you know somebody that has a hard time focusing, or maybe you know somebody that leads somebody and you've heard them say, man, this person just can't stay focused. Well, it's not that they don't want to sometimes. But again, I do think deep down it is a choice. And we need to really choose to focus. And that's harder for some than others. Hey, have a great rest of your day. And until tomorrow, run to your challenges. We'll see you.